We're on Matthew Street right here in Liverpool, and I'm gonna try to meet Roag Best, brother of Pete Best, original Beatle drummer. Let's go check it out. This is where it all started for the Beatles. That's not the original spot, because the original spot was down here. The Cavern Club moved 3 times. The second time it moved was here. And this is where actually the Beatles did play. But they had to move it to down there. Celia Black was managed by Brian Epstein. She's also buried by John Lennon's mother, Julia Lennon. But this was the home of the original Cavern. Okay, so here we are. This is the Beatles Museum right here. And if you take a step back over here, it's next door to the Grapes. The Grapes was a bar that's been here forever. The Beatles as kids, they come here and, well, kids, they come here and drink because the Cavern didn't have a liquor license, so they drink before their show and head on down there. Rumor has it when Pete Best was sacked, this is also where he came to get a drink to wash his sorrows away. A unique and authentic Beatles Museum. There's Mona Best right there. Let's go in here, look really. There's the Apple, the rooftops, Abbey Road, Shea Stadium seats. Line open 8 days a week. Now look how cool that is. Everybody, I'm with Roag Best, and today Roag's gonna take us around the famous Beatle Museum, which it's real legit. Trust me, it's legit. You know why? Because I got Roag. Right, Roag?
Can't get any more legit.
I want to ask you really quick. On this floor, what's the one thing that touches your heart?
Got so many items that are iconic. There isn't like one that is like, ooh, that's the item. On this floor, hey, Pete's drum kit. There's so many.
Show me Pete's drum. Let's go. Let's walk together. So this is it, huh?
Pete's original kit. That's Pete's original kit, which you see on all those black and white photographs of them at the time. That's where he did the Hamburg, the recordings with the BBC, the ADIKA recordings, the recordings at Abbey Road, etc., etc. And then just at the tail end of his time with the Beatles, he treated himself to a new kit, which you don't see on the Beatles photographs, unfortunately, because he was dismissed before anyone got shots of him sitting behind the second kit.
Whoa, whoa. So that's my favorite photo shoot of the Beatles, which is right here behind us, right? That's the kit right there.
Yeah.
Those are the cases, the original cases right there. Wow. That is so historic, man. Wow.
First drum skin with the Beatles logo on it. First drum skin with the Beatles logo. But I've never seen it on a Beatles drum kit. Well, no, you wouldn't, because what happened was Pete was in Hamburg and my father decided as a surprise he'd get a drum skin and put the Beatles on it and present it to Pete. He did 2 of them, present them to Pete when he came back, which he did. Unfortunately, he thought that Pete's bass drum was a 26-inch bass drum, and it wasn't, it was a 24, so it didn't actually fit the kit. So the 2 skins that he did, this is one of them, basically sat behind a wardrobe for nearly 60 years.
So how's that? What, somebody did it with a pencil? They did it with a pencil. Who's the one that did it?
Neil Aspinall.
So Neil, that's Neil's writing right there. Your dad.
Yeah.
I don't know if some people know Neil. His dad. Another legend. Beatle history. See how I do all this? I make it funny. I mean, are you laughing? Are you having a good time? No, good. Keep it that way.
So you look at Beatles fashion, as it were, and you get the Beatles going out to Hamburg, and they're wearing what looks like suits. And if the pictures had been colour photographs, you'd have seen that the Beatles were wearing lilac jackets. John, Paul, George and Stuart wearing lilac jackets. Because Pete was the new boy in the band, he didn't have a lilac jacket, so he wore a black jacket. And then, of course, you see the Beatles from that. The next sort of shots you see is they've gone to leather.
Yeah.
Because they've gone to leather. But there was a whole look they had in between those periods, which was their stage wear, and no one photographed them. You know, in that stage wear, and the stage wear was that they were wearing blue or white jeans with red and black ski jackets or white and black ski jackets. Yeah, and no one, you never know that was basically their image at one point because no one photographed them wearing this stuff. Pete's Leathers. Because of the hours they were playing in Germany, they were playing 8 hours a night except for Friday and Saturday. Friday and Saturday they had to play 12 hours. They'd start at 6 p.m. and finish at 6 a.m. in the morning. And the clothes they were wearing when they first went out were literally just falling apart. They were falling apart, you know. And leather was one, it was very cheap in Germany, and two, the Germans were wearing leather, so the Beatles basically went, well, we'll go into leather because one, it's cheap, and two, it doesn't fall apart. I had worn leather on stage even, and yeah, I'll go with that.
It's not comfortable.
It's not the most comfortable thing.
So this was your brother's guitar, Rory, right?
Yeah,
Rory?
he
He loaned it to George.
Yeah, and then I ended up with it because he gave it to me when I was about 16. When I was I'd started playing drums, I'd started playing guitar, and he gave me that. It's a bit of a nasty guitar to play, but hey, I'm glad he did it. I'm glad I kept it. They're the French horns that we used on Sgt. Pepper.
Those are the horns, or
Yeah.
wow.
John Lennon's garden furniture.
Was that his?
Yeah, it was out by his swimming pool. Oh yeah, you can see it behind John on that photograph down there.
Yeah.
Sgt. Pepper medals that John wore. So they're there, and there he is wearing one on the
So those are the
cover.
those are the medals, huh?
Yeah, they're the medals.
I was mesmerized as a kid by those medals.
From the album cover, the trophy that was on the floor on the,
Yes.
the album cover. That's the trophy.
Wow, that's cool.
A comic, a magazine. Over here in the UK through the 50s, 60s, the Beatles used to read The Dandy as kids, and Paul McCartney said in an interview in 1963, what's one of your dreams? What's one of the things that you want to achieve? And he said, I'd like to be a character in The Dandy. Then many, many years later, The Dandy isn't as popular as it used to be, and it decides, right, that's it, we're doing the final Dandy. And they remembered that Paul had made this comment in 63, so they got in touch with Paul and said, do you want to be a character in the final Dandy? And he said, yes, I want to be in the Desperate Dan strip. Desperate Dan was one of the characters. So Paul was in the final edition of the Dandy, but the guy, the cartoonist who drew all the pictures of the final edition, still had those drawings, and he gave the drawings to us. So these drawings and the templates to them of Paul being in the final edition of the Dandy. Now initially they'd started doing a cartoon strip called Little Sir Paul McCartney, which was this. He'd started doing the drawings for Little Sir Paul McCartney, and then Paul basically said, no, I don't want Little Sir Paul McCartney, I want to be with Desperate Dan. So that never got done at all.
So this is just a draft of what
what could have been, but Paul said no. He wanted to be in the Desperate. He wanted to be with Desperate Dan.
Very cool.
George brought back a necklace and bracelet. Patty wore the necklace on the front cover of Italian Vogue, but the bracelet ended up again back in Liverpool. Ended up with my mother, and then ended up with me. Some Studio 2 at Abbey Road.
Oh, is that the lights?
Yeah, they're the
that's
lights
cool.
from Studio 2.
A lot of cool history. I got to ask you, who did all this? It's beautiful.
This is a Liverpool artist. He's known as Art Unknown. He's known as Art Unknown, and he did all the artwork leading down to. This is our event space, our venue space. Do you want to see it?
Yeah. You mind showing me really quick? And he also did the art when you walk in here too?
Yeah, he did
Beautiful.
all the artwork here, the artwork in the event space, and the artwork in the reception.
Beautiful.
You know, now with the reception, I said to him, base it round, his imagination's incredible. So I said, base it round the Beatles songs with the event space.
Wow.
I said, base it around places. Yeah. But I loved this when I first walked in and I looked left and I started laughing. And he said, what? And I went, mate, I said, I love the flying fish.
Wow. Now when you look at it, this angle, it's just trippy, man. Oh, it's beautiful.
There's the yellow submarine crashed on the seabed. It's sunk, it's crashed on the seabed.
Do your little...
Yeah, we use the event space to rehearse now.
That's cool.
Eleanor Rigby sitting with Paul.
That's beautiful.
And then you said earlier, what did this place used to be?
Yeah.
I said it used to be it was a Victorian banana warehouse. Well, Art asked the same thing. He said, what did this place used to be? I said it was a Victorian banana warehouse and the bananas were coming from the West Indies. So on that wall, he gave a nod to the heritage of what it used to be before.
I think this is a good way to end it, huh? What do you think,
I
bro?
think so. I think this is a good place to end.
Any messages for the people watching?
Love you all, love to see you all in Liverpool. Hopefully if our new band Beetlehead gets out to the USA, like to see at some of our shows, come and have fun and listen to his show. This guy's fantastic.
We'll have a good time, alrighty? Hey, if you're staying, come to Liverpool, check out his Airbnb, the Casbah Coffee House, and I'll put links down below. Did I say it right?
Yeah, Casbah Coffee Club.
I said house club. See, I'm making it my house. I'm already moving in.
Yeah.
Links are down below. Click right above here. I'm already throwing them out and moving in. All right, everybody. I'm going to put a link here and here. That's going to be from my conversation with Roag's brother, Pete Best. Check that out if you haven't seen it. Until then, who loves you, baby? We do. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.